Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, in this lecture, basically we are going to start with the preamble of the Constitution. Okay, we are going to start with the preamble of the Constitution. All right, and you could say that these are the topics which we have scheduled for the discussion, like the introduction part, like the text of the preamble, like the ingredients of the preamble, keywords in preamble, preamble as part of the Constitution. However, the two things which you should note it about the preamble and the amenability of the preamble. All right. So you could say that these are the topics which we are going to discuss in the part of the preamble. All right. So let's start with the introduction part. The Constitution of the, you can say the Constitution of the American Constitution was the first to begin with the preamble. And even we know that the American Constitution is the world's first written constitution. Okay. So always remember that the American Constitution is the world's first written constitution. Many countries, including India, followed this practice. The term preamble refers to the introduction or the preface to the Constitution. All right. So whatsoever we understand it, like if we talk about any particular book, okay, like suppose this is a book. All right. This is the book, and suppose this book name is XYZ. All right. So whenever you purchase any book from the market, so whenever you open it, there always be like the pages in the starting, which are like the introduction or the preface. All right. Introduction or the preface. So what is the significance of this thing? Basically, these are the introductory part. Like whatever you are going to see in this particular book of XYZ, all the things are mentioned here in the introduction or in the preface part. Got it? Similarly, if we look at the another term, like it contains the summary or the essence of the constitution. Like whenever you purchase some book and you learn the introduction, the preface, and you always look down the summary. Okay. So what you get? That you get an idea. Like what is the book about? Okay, what are the things written down here? What you are going to see? Okay, what are the features of this book? Whatever the contains, knowledge you are getting it from. Alright. All the things are mentioned in these areas. Same like the preamble. Okay. Basically, when we talk about the constitution, then the the constitution is like a written book. Okay, because our constitution is written form, and that's why it is known as the written book. So we could say the preamble is like an introduction, preface, or the summary of that particular book which we are going to see. Like what are the contents we have in the preamble? What is the feature of the constitution? All right. What are the things the particular person who is having that particular constitution is going to see? Okay. All these things are basically mentioned here. Okay. Here the another name is N.A. Palkiwala, an eminent jurist and constitutional expert, called the preamble as the identity card identity card of the constitution. Okay, it means that whatever you are going to see in the constitution is already present in the preamble itself. Okay, the preamble to the constitution is based on the objectives and resolutions drafted and moved by the Pandit Nehru and adopted by the Constituent Assembly. Okay, we know on 13 December 1946, okay, on 13 December 1946, basically Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru presented the objectives and resolutions which were later adopted by the Constituent Assembly, which had the task to prepare Constitution for India. All right. So basically, the preamble of the Indian Constitution is typically based on the objectives and the resolution part. All right. So keep this thing in your mind. The preamble to the Indian Constitution is based on the objectives drafted and moved by the Pandit Nehru, as we had seen. It has been amended by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, which added three words: socialist, secular, and integrity. Okay. Like if we see about the preamble, then preambles like sovereign, secular, socialist, democratic, republic. Okay. This is the introduction of India as per the Indian Constitution. Sovereign, it means that we are not under any other country, we are independent on our own. Secular, it means the Indian state is not going to give privilege to any particular religion. Socialist, it means that we are thinking for the welfare of our people. Democratic, it means that the public has the right to choose their government and choose the people who will govern them for some specific period of time. Republic, it means whosoever will be the head of the state. Remember, there are two positions: head of the state and head of the government. All right. So, head of the state is a position for President of India, and head of the government will be the Prime Minister. All right. So, whosoever will be the head of the state, it means the president, he will be a elected person. All right. That's why it is a republic. Okay. So, remember that this is the introduction of India through the preamble: sovereign, secular, socialist, democratic, republic. Got it? Like this one. So, here, basically in 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. Okay. For the first time, the preamble was amended. All right. And the three new words were added, like the socialist, like the secular, and the integrity. All right. So you will ask me, like, where is the integrity here? All right. So basically, this is the introduction. It means what we are. And there are other words like a justice, thereafter the fraternity, integrity. Okay. These words are also mentioned in the preamble, and this is called the aspiration. Okay. So this word signifies that what we are, and these words signifies that what we want to be. All right. Aspiration. Got it? That is the main case. All right. So integrity is basically the aspiration. Got it? So remember, what were the three words who were added? Thereafter, now we have to talk about the text of India. Sorry, text of the preamble. The preamble in its present form reads, "We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to the constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens." All right. So please keep this text in your mind. All right. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. All right. And what are the inspirations? What we have? Justice, social, economical, and political. Social justice, it means everything, or you can say everyone must be protected. All right. That is the welfare approach. Economic means that everyone must have an adequate resources for the livelihood. Political, it means that no arbitrary powers could be exercised on anyone, and everyone is politically free. All right. And last is liberty of thought, expression, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Okay. So that is the text of the preamble. Okay. Some of them are the introduction, what we are, and some of them are the, you could say, aspirations, like what we are going to be. Equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. Dignity of the individual means that privacy of everyone must be protected. All right, everyone must live a respectful life and all. Unity and integrity of the nation means that no one is allowed to get separated from the nation. All right, whether it's a state and other things. All right, in our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. All right. So remember this thing. Like, however, on 24th November, on 24th November 1949, all right, the Constitution was adopted. Got it? Keep this thing in mind. All right. And basically, that was a day of twenty sixth November 1949, when the preamble was adopted. Okay. So remember these details. Okay. And remember one thing, like basically, however, we had adopted the Constitution, or you can say not adopted. Basically, the Constitution was prepared. All right. On 24th November 1949, the Constitution was completed or prepared. On 26th November 1949, the Preamble was adopted. And basically, on 24th January 1950, Constitution was signed by all the members of Constituent Assembly. Okay, and basically on 26th January 1950, what happened? That Constitution was implemented throughout the country. Okay, so remember the timeline. Okay, so what are the ingredients of the preamble? The preamble reveals four ingredients or the components. Source of authority of constitution. Like what is the source of authority of the constitution, or you can say which authorize the constitution. The preamble states that the constitution derives its authority from the people of India. It means that there is no particular authority, no particular department, no particular government organization, but it's a people of India who authorize the constitution. Okay, or you could say who powers the constitution to exercise its function. What is the nature of Indian state? It declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular democratic, and republican polity. All right. So India is a sovereign state. As I have told you, there is no other country above us. Okay, we are independent. Socialist, it means that we having the welfare approach in our actions. Secular democratic, it means that basically, all right, there is a one thing, secular and then the democratic. Secular means India, or you can say Indian government is not going to privilege any other particular religion. Democratic means in India we have the elections, we have the elected government, all right, and the people of India having the right to vote and choose the people who will govern them for some specific period of time. Okay, like the 5 years. All right, it is a general time in India, and thereafter the republican. As I have told you, the head of the state will be elected one. Thereafter, what are the objectives of the constitution? Also, we call them as a aspiration, like the justice, liberty, equality, and the fraternity. Okay, the objectives are justice. It means that we are required to provide social, economic, and political justice to all who are living in this country. Liberty, it means that there is a liberty of thought, expression, faith, and worship. All right, anyone want to believe anything, he could believe. Anyone want to express anything, he could express. Anyone who want to faith in any particular thing could have the faith. Anyone who want to worship any religion could worship any religion. Equality, it means that in India there is a equality for all. Okay, no one is going to be you can say declare unequal on the basis of caste, religion, sex, or you can say gender, birthplace, all right. No one is going to be judged and declared unequal on the basis of this. Caste, religion, gender, birthplace. Okay. And fraternity means the sense of brotherhood. It means that everyone in India should feel that we all are a united people, apart of our religion, the customs, and culture. All right. Date of adoption of the constitution. So basically, the constitution was adopted as per the preamble of constitution on November 26, 1949. Okay. It was completed on 24th November 1949, was adopted on 26th November 1949. All right. Was signed on 24th January 1950 and was implemented on 26th January 1950, which we famously celebrate every year as a Republic Day. All right. So these are some of the details. Certain keywords in the preamble are like sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. What these are? What is the explanation of them as per the Indian polity or as per the people of India? So let's first have a word of sovereign. What is the meaning of this? Okay. So the word sovereign implies that India is neither a dependency nor a dominion of any other nation. Dependency means that India is not dependent on any other country. Alright, what do you mean by the dominion? So basically, when we talk about the independent nation, and the dominant nation. Okay, so what is the difference between them? Independent nation is basically that country is independent in terms of external and internal political terms. Country is independent in terms of external and internal political terms. This is called the independent nation. When we talk about the dominant nation, then basically country is independent in terms of internal political terms only, and external polity is governed by any other country. Okay, so India is the independent nation. It means that whether it's the external methods or the internal matters, India is going to tackle them. Whereas if India would be the dominant nation, it means that on internal part we are free. Whatever policies we are required to implement in our country, that could be made by ourselves. But on the external matters like the foreign relations, like the defense, like the communication and all, that will be handled by any other country. So that is not in India. It means that Indian country is the independent nation, whereas dominant nation is some other type of thing. All right. So student, basically in this lecture we had conducted till here. In the next lecture we will continue from here. Till then, just revise all the facts and figures which we have discussed in this lecture. Be ready for the another lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture and thank you.